Welcome back to the IU427 garage, everybody. I think what we're going to do today is we're going to work on the Gen2 Coyote for the Type 65 coupe that we have here in the shop. I've got a couple of days to work on this because I'm waiting on some parts for the King's Cobra. So I want to make good use of this time and get as much stuff done on that engine as we can so that any other parts that we may need for it we can get ordered up so that they'll be available when we're ready to finish this engine off. Alright, so this is the engine as it sits right now, and I did actually take some time and I bolted up the power steering pump to the front of the engine. But since that belt is the last belt that goes on, I didn't want to go any further because we were missing all of the idler pulleys. We were missing the tensioner with the pulley on it. We were missing the belt. So I had the owner order all that stuff up, and in here I have a collection of parts. I've actually pulled some of the stuff out of the box. So in this box, this is a box from Continental, is our idler pulley, and that's in here somewhere. So that's this pulley right here. I have the water neck right here. You can see that one, and I think I still have to order bolts for this. We have the belt, so we got a Gates, a Gates Micro V belt. I've had good luck with those, so we got that. We got the crossover from Gates. The Ford piece was not available. Either on the website that we ordered a bunch of the Ford parts from or on Rock Auto, so we just got the Gates equivalent of that crossover, and it looks like a really nice piece. We've got the tensioner and pulley for the front of the motor as well, and then we've got some hardware pieces in here. So we've got bolts right here for the AC compressor, so that's these are the actual studs from Ford. We have a coolant pipe that goes on to the passenger side of the block. We're missing that, so we ordered that up. We have some other hardware in here too. I think we've got some bolts. Whoa, right here. These are the Gates heater hose connectors. So we've got two of those in here. What else? Here is a bolt for the idler pulley, and then we should have another bolt in here for the tensioner pulley as well. So I'll have to find that because I think that's in here as well. But you can see we got a bunch of parts ordered up. We have, of course, we've got the engine sitting here, and then the compressor is right here in this box. So that's for the AC. And then one part that was in question was this is the reluctor wheel for the crankshaft from the F-150. And we weren't sure if this was the same piece and whether it crossed over to the Mustang. So we did a little bit of investigation, found out that it was the same piece. However, you know, boys and their toys, The owner found a billet one. So this is a billet steel piece, and this is from MMR. So you can see it's got the MMR logo on it right there. It's a nice piece. I mean, it's like a piece of jewelry. But supposedly, that reluctor wheel is supposed to allow the engine to spin up to eight grand. So 8,000 RPMs. Now, I don't think the owner's ever going to take it to 8,000 RPMs. He probably didn't need this piece. But, again, boys being boys, he saw it. It wasn't that much money. He went ahead and he purchased that piece. So that piece, I believe, goes on before the flywheel. So that goes on first, the flywheel goes on over it, and then the flywheel bolts go through both pieces. So we have to make sure that we have that on when we put the engine together. The sensor that I'm going to be pulling out of here in just a second is the sensor that picks up that signal. And it's a long sensor. It's probably about 10 inches long. It goes down into the engine from basically a point just below the intake manifold. And so we're going to pull that out. We're going to compare it to the Ford Motorcraft one that's listed on Rock Auto, and we're going to have the owner order that up. We're also going to have to order up a belt for the AC compressor. Somewhere in the midst of this engine and this car moving from the shop that it was in to our shop, 90% of the AC stuff is here. We've got it. So we have the compressor. We have the evaporator that goes underneath the dash. It's already mounted in the car. What we don't have is we don't have the condenser. That's the radiator portion that goes out in the front of the car. So we're missing that. We're missing the switches that operate the heater and the AC. We're missing all of the tubing that go from the plenum to the outlets in the dash. We're missing the outlet eyeballs. We're also missing, there's one more thing that we're missing, and I'm not going to remember what it is right now. But so the owner's still looking for it. We're hoping that there's just a mystery box over at the other shop where this thing was before, and that we won't have to replace each and every one of those individual parts. But we'll see. But I do have to get the belt, because that belt is the first belt that has to be installed before the main drive belt and then before the power steering belt. So we kind of need to get a list together so that we can get all this stuff kind of pre-assembled on the front of the engine. And then at some point here, and hopefully the next few weeks, we'll be putting the intake manifold on, wiring up the harness, and then sending this thing off to get it dynoed. All right, so this is the sensor in question. This right here is going to watch the signal for the reluctor wheel that kind of goes right in here. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to pull this out, we're going to measure it to make sure that it's the same as the one that is listed on the Rock Auto website for a 2015 Mustang. Then we're also going to pull out these two sensors, so this one here and this one here. The reason I'm worried more so about these sensors than any of the others is that they're on the back of the engine and they're going to be the hardest to get to. So it's best to just go ahead and replace these now, and then we'll keep all of the sensors that are in here for backups, so that if the car owner ever needs to replace one, or if he gets in a position where he needs to replace one in a hurry, doesn't want to wait for one to come in the mail or go down to the dealer, he'll have them. I'm also going to investigate this. I'm not sure what this sensor is, but I know on the Gen2 Coyote, it does not use a water temperature sensor. I'm not sure on the Gen2 if it has a water temperature sensor or not, but this looks as though it is in one of the water jackets, because here is a freeze plug on the back of the head right here, right behind this bracket. So, oh, you can see the freeze plug on this side. So it's the same thing, different spot. So I'm going to see if that sensor is indeed the water temperature sensor. We'll just go ahead and replace that as well. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 sensors that we're going to replace. All right, so there are 3 sensors. There's actually 4. That one is the same from one side to the other. It's just it's flipped. So one, the wiring is going to be pointed down. On this one over here, it was pointed up. And then I pulled out what looks like a water temperature sensor right there. So that's the water temperature sensor on the far left. Right there is our crank sensor, and then cam sensor right there. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to match up those to the pictures that we have online for a 2015 Mustang with a Gen 2, and we're going to get those part numbers sent over to the car owner so he can get those ordered up. All right, so I just went online, and I've often said, you know, sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And I'm not as familiar with the Coyote engines as much as, you know, other than just installing one, hooking up the control pack and, you know, letting her rip. So I've never replaced any of the sensors on any of these things. So I'm getting an education as I'm putting this together. I'm going to be well versed in all this stuff when I get done with this one. But so I go online to look for the cam position sensor. I figured, oh, there's one on each side, but there is 4 cams. But I figured, well, maybe they only take a generic reading, you know, from 1 cam on each side. Oh no, it takes all 4 readings. So I come back out to the engine and I look, and sure enough, on the driver's side head, there is another sensor. It's right here. But with this ground strap right here that goes into a connector, I was kind of thrown because I thought this was part of this, and it's not. It's separate. You can see it moves separately. So that's the cam sensor there. That's the intake cam sensor. This is the exhaust cam sensor. And then over here, you can see the one I pulled out on the exhaust. Well, peer up here where the intake sensor was. And notice that I said was, because I didn't pull that out. So had I got to the wiring portion of this, I would have been like, what the hell? I got a connector and I got no sensor. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get 2 of the intake sensors, 2 of the exhaust sensors, and then all the other sensors that we talked about. But these are the things, you know, this owner bought this engine as a pullout. Basically, a dismantler pulled this engine out of an F-150, I think a 2017. If I called it a 2015, I'm sorry, it's a 2017. That's when the Gen 2 came out. So he didn't get all the parts and pieces with it that should have come with it. So he got none of the front dress stuff, none of the coolant hose, none of the thermostat housing. All that stuff had been pulled off the motor, which kind of sucks, you know, if you're kind of going into this blind, because you would think that you'd get more with a pull-out engine versus a crate engine, because normally, like when I bought the LS for Ellie, the dismantler that I bought it from cut the hoses at the radiator. And so all the hoses for that engine were on it. All the sensors were on it. The engine harness was on it, to the point where I even got the computer. So it was a complete engine. The only thing I had him pull off of there is he wanted to sell it with the transmission, and I didn't need the transmission. And so he took like $400 or $500 off the price because I didn't need the transmission. I'm going with a manual transmission. I ended up going back to him for a T56, but that's neither here nor there. It was a complete engine. I did not need any sensors. I didn't need any other stuff to go with it, any coolant, you know, outlets, or it was complete. So watch when you buy this stuff to make sure that you're getting as complete an engine as possible, so that you're not in this position where you're going through and trying to, you know, assemble this with all these nitpicky little parts that you didn't know you were missing. So that one cam sensor could have really hurt us. Hell, if we didn't know about it at all and didn't, you know, have a connector to hook up to it and started it, oil's going to shoot out of that hole. So it's a good thing we're going through this and kind of getting a complete list. And as I go through, I'm sure there's going to be more stuff that's missing. I'm just trying to kind of ease the expense that the owner is having to incur at this point so that he can spread it out over a little bit of time, because I'm still working on the other car, the King's Cobra, but I did have some time this weekend as I wait for parts for the King's Cobra to put some time in and start the assembly on the engine. So I'm trying to get that done this weekend. All right, it's the next day. I worked on the engine until Mrs. IE427 and I had to leave for dinner. I got quite a bit done, and then I worked on it again some more today. So I'm as far as I can go, and I'll explain that. But I got the kind of ignore this. I just got this on today, and it's just kind of stuck on there by the hose up on top. So it's not gonna stay there because I got to pull it back off to put the hardware on. But regardless, I got the idler pulley on down here. I got the tensioner and the pulley on down there, and both of these pieces of hardware, so this bolt here, that bolt there, we ordered from one of the Ford dealers. And then I got the compressor for the AC system mounted as well. And again, we purchased hardware from the Ford dealer online for that stuff there. But today I worked on the thermostat housing, and it's the same thing. You know, we don't have the hardware for the bolts that go through the thermostat housing into the front of the block, or the front of the engine cover / timing cover. And so therefore I can't go any farther. Now the belt and everything will go on even with the thermostat housing in place, so I'm not worried about that. But you know, again, I'm kind of stymied because I'm waiting on hardware. And those bolts aren't something that I can even go and pick up at my my specialty hardware store, because they don't make a 6mm by 70mm long bolt and have it in stock. Now I could get it from McMaster Car, but then I got to buy a whole box of 50 of them, and I don't need 50. So I put those on the list for the car owner, and he's going to get those ordered up along with some other hardware that is Ford specific that we couldn't get on Rock Auto. And hopefully we'll have those probably in the next week or so. But I think that's where I'm going to leave the video for right now. I want to stress again, if you're going to buy a used engine, get it as complete as you possibly can, because this little hardware stuff is simply going to kill you. You're going to get to a certain point like, I can't go any farther. You're going to get to that point, and then you're going to be wasting a lot of time. I mean, this is the only project you're working on, then that means you've got to find something else on your car to work on in the meantime while you're waiting for hardware to come in. So it's really going to stymie your forward progress, and a lot of times those are the things that are going to kind of like bum you out, and then you're going to throw your arms and go, I've had enough of this car. You know how it is. So if you're enjoying the content here, as always, please do the like, the share, the subscribe, all that kind of stuff. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.